Hello guys and welcome. Today we're back and we have our Gameweek 14 preview. So let's start with some stats and facts. Only Leicester City 6 have kept more Premier League clean sheets than Burnley this season 5, while only Watford 7 have failed to score in more matches than Crystal Palace 6. Indeed, only the Hornets with 8 goals have scored fewer league goals than 11 netted by Crystal Palace and Newcastle United this season. Spurs have won all 4 of their Premier League home encounters against AFC Bournemouth by an aggregate score of 13-0. Harry Kane has scored 7 goals in his 6 Premier League matches against the Cherries, though 6 of those strikes for Spurs came in the first 3 meetings. Jamie Vardy has scored 12 goals in his last 12 Premier League home encounters. In total, he has scored 48 goals in 94 matches at King Power in the competition, and could become the first player to reach 50 at the ground in the top flight. Sadio Mane has scored 17 goals in his last 16 Premier League outings at Anfield. Indeed, since the start of last season, his total of 22 goals at home is more than any other player in the Premier League. Now concerning clean sheets odds, Liverpool, Leicester and Man City have the highest clean sheets odds in Game Week 14. Feel free to check out the rest of the list for the odds of all the other teams. Our budget picks for this week are Aurier, in a tricky fine form with an assist and a clean sheet in his last 3 games, but the tricky part evolves around earning 7 bonus points during the time despite his unexplosive form. Along the same period, he has attempted 2 shots and delivered 5 key passes, which highlights an attacking intent that was put into contest in midweek in the Champions League, as he scored a goal and assisted another. He represents the cheapest route into Tottenham's defensive line that should become more solid now that Jose Mourinho is in charge of Spurs. Opponents Bournemouth scored only 1 goal in their last 3 away trips. Kante, despite featuring in only 5 games from the start due to injury issues, he still managed to score 3 goals, an aspect he added to his game and has been progressively improving. Some may consider these goals as random shots that got lucky, but the Frenchman has attempted 3 shots and created 4 chances in the last 2 game weeks, reflecting his involvement in attacks. Opponents West Ham conceded at least 2 goals in each of their last 3 away matches. Chris Wood, among strikers priced below the 8 million bar, he has scored the highest number of goals with 6 goals in his account. All of these 6 goals were scored in his last 6 outings, a time frame along which he fired 18 shots with 67% of them being on target, emphasizing his efficiency. Our favorite differential picks for Game Week 14 are: firstly, this week we have the former Burnley and Liverpool striker Ings. Over the last few weeks, Danny Ings has struggled for form and with injury, but he seems to be performing well this season and scoring lots of goals. He's definitely been Southampton's shining light this season so far. Ings has scored 6 goals this season to date, including 5 in his last 7 games. That's 5 in 7. He has gone quite unnoticed because most teams have a 10-play striker force of Vardy, Abraham and Jimenez. It's a pretty good goal tally for Ings considering he started the season playing as second fiddle to Che Adams too. Southampton have a good fixture run-wise, with home games against Watford, Norwich and West Ham, and away games at Newcastle and Villa in their next 5. Lucas Moura, sometimes a manager sacking paves the way on FPL for a player or two, and it feels like that can be the case for the Spurs Brazilian player. Hardly ever used by Pochettino and only priced at 7 mil, he started both games since Mourinho has joined and had a goal and an assist so far, meaning he will probably feature heavily. Spurs are home to Bournemouth and Burnley and away to Man United and Wolves in the next 4 games. Decent games for Spurs with Moura's goal scoring pedigree, 10 goals last season and the Champions League semi-final hat-trick. You can bank on him returning if he's trusted to play. Gabriel Jesus. Ever thought what a great FPL prospect Gabriel Jesus would be if he was at a club where he was the main striker? Well, this could be the case for the next 3 or 4 games, as Sergio Aguero has been ruled out for a few weeks by the manager. We all know he can score goals when given the chance, but he's normally playing as second fiddle to Aguero, and the last 2 seasons he has scored 13 and 7 goals in not very many games. Man City play Newcastle United away, then Burnley away, followed by Man United, Arsenal and Leicester. Pretty hard games, but Man City can turn it on against anybody. A very nice differential. Our recommended captain picks for Game Week 14 are Mane, Vardy and Rashford. Now let's finish up this preview with frequently asked questions. Is De Bruyne in enough coverage from Man City? And is Jesus worth having while Aguero is out for a few weeks? Christmas festive period always comes with rotations for most of Premier League managers, and with Pep, it would be the ideal period to play his usual roulette in his Man City squad. Though Kevin De Bruyne is the most assured starter of all Premier City assets, although we believe he may be benched at least once in the coming 7 game weeks until the end of the year. As for Gabriel Jesus, he may be a good differential for the short term, but it remains to be seen whether he can deliver or not in the upcoming game weeks, with Sterling previously played in the number 9 role during Aguero's injury. To sum it up, I would only keep De Bruyne as the only attacking coverage from Man City, at least for now, and wait to see how Jesus can perform in the upcoming weeks, especially with many other forwards in red hot form right now, like Vardy, Jimenez and even Lacazette. Second question, what are the best options from Spurs? With Mourinho in charge now at Spurs, FPL managers followed the beginning of Mourinho's Spurs era against West Ham with a keen interest, as Spurs bet the Hammers to snatch the first away win in Premier League since last January and the first win in 6 matches. Heung-min Son, who had an eye-catching performance during the West Ham match, registering 13 points all thanks to a goal and an assist, along with maximum bonus points, and he seems to be an optimum pick in Spurs midfield, although Dele Alli has impressed in both games against West Ham and Olympiacos, having been deployed in the number 10 role by Jose. Harry Kane, who netted 3 goals in 2 matches since Mourinho's appointment, is also a player to consider for the upcoming game weeks, keeping in mind his explosive returns, which further consolidates his credentials for the captaincy armband ahead of favourable home game against Bournemouth. Although Spurs are still far from being solid at the back, Serge Aurier remains a major threat pushing forward, registering a goal and a couple of assists in Mourinho's 2 games in charge, so attacking returns may be on the horizon for the Ivorian, especially with Spurs enjoying 2 home games in the next 4. Third question, is it time to sell Liverpool defenders after keeping only 2 clean sheets so far this season? Last Saturday's hard-fought 2-1 win for Liverpool at Palace means now that Liverpool has failed to keep a clean sheet in all Premier League matches, bar 2 so far this season. So many FPL managers are starting to think about Liverpool defensive assets ahead of their blanking game week 18. In fact, owners of Liverpool defensive assets, mainly Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, are still heavily reliant on their attacking contributions, as clean sheets seem to be hard to get, at least for now. Though to be honest, Liverpool were unlucky to keep just 2 clean sheets so far, keeping in mind that only Leicester City has conceded fewer goals, 9 than Liverpool, 11 this season, with the Reds conceding just a single goal in each of their 11 matches they conceded in, with 3 home games in the next 4, including a very appealing fixture this weekend against Brighton, who scored just 5 goals on the road this season, including 3 goals at game week 1 against a poor Watford side. Owning any of Trent Alexander-Arnold or Robertson would be a near essential, considering their attacking threat and clean sheet potential, as returns on both sides of the field seem to be on the horizon. The fourth and last question, is it time to sell Man United defenders, De Gea, Maguire and Bissaka, after failing to keep a clean sheet in the last 6 game weeks? Man United has now kept just 2 clean sheets so far this season and seems to be a little fragile at the back, especially in their thrilling 3-3 draw with Sheffield, in a below average away display for the Red Devils. With the absence of clean sheets and lack of attacking returns as well as for Man United defenders, many FPL managers are rushing to sell them, with the likes of Soyuncu, Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, Tomori or even Aurier have a better form and fixtures at the moment. Though with a goal-shy Aston Villa making a trip to Old Trafford in Game Week 14, it would be wise to give United defenders last chance before parting company with. We have come to the end of this preview. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check out our Facebook, Twitter and website for daily tips and updates. Subscribe to our channel. Best of luck in Game Week 14 and peace!